inconsistent shotgun I've ever played with. This kid is literally dead twice. Like, that's literally like 370s back to back. Like, what are you talking about? That was a headshot, too. That 111 was straight up an aim down sight headshot. Like, what are you talking about?
What's up, guys? It's your boy Kittens coming back to you guys with a discussion about the best guns in the game, the worst guns in the game, and my favorite ones. Kind of the differences between that. I want to have that little special section up front for the Mastiff, for the inspiration for this. The Gaming Merchant is someone I watch and enjoy regularly. I heavily disagree. I think the Mastiff is terrible. I just gonna put it out there. The clip says it all. So. Life. But so we're going to go right into what I think are some of the best weapons in the game. I feel like the easy pickoffs for two different weapons that are exceptionally powerful are the Rampage. Spitfire is a little bit of a comparison, and the Bocek Rampage. So LMGs, broadly speaking, can down an entire squad with one clip. Just that rewarding, if you hit every shot, you'll actually, no nonsense, with the Rampage Spitfire, you'll down an entire squad without reloading. And I feel like that puts those guns kind of in a class of their own. I feel like the Devotion is kind of in there too. It's just tougher to aim. The bullets come out really fast. It isn't as easy. The Rampage kind of is easy. The bullets are fairly slow coming out. The damage is very chunky. The headshots are rewarding. It's really something. And the bow, and we're bringing the bow up as another one of those guns, that second one that really is something noticeable to point out, and really it's because of that solo gameplay. Playing it in solo is just really powerful. That moment where you're third partying, and third partying is super pivotal in Apex, where you want multiple squads there, so you're not focused on as much. Where you're shooting, and that first 10 to 20 seconds, there's no ping happening, there's no 3, 4, 5 heads turning to shoot at you. There's just people scrambling around, trying to figure out who just did the 70, 140 something to their team, right? And that's a really powerful moment, that 10 to 20 seconds where there's no ping, there's no 3, 4, 5 heads turning to look at you. And that's what really makes the bow that gun you should use in solos over almost anything else. I would even say two bows is kind of dirty because you can kind of like hip fire it on in close range scenarios. So now the other thing to bring up is the kind of a class tier of the most powerful weapons in the game, and also kind of the flip side of it, some of my favorite ones. Marksman weapons. Marksman weapons, those single fire weapons, are some of the most powerful weapons in the game, but not in totality all of them. Easy includes to bring up as some of the most powerful guns are like, for marksmen, it'd be like G7, the Hemlock is exceptionally powerful, the Peacekeeper's in there, a little bit more powerful than the Wingman because of the consistent like 70s and 80s rather than the 45, but the Wingman also is one of those really powerful guns. And there's an interesting thing that you can do with the single fire weapons specifically that makes them really powerful, and it's just the amount of time taken per damage per how much you take damage, basically peeking corners. You shoot a little shotgun blast, do your 80 or 90 damage, go back around the corner, and then the amount of time that your opponent has to do damage isn't the same because you used a little quarter of a second to do 80 to 90, and then you're back behind a wall. And then you peek back out, you have another little tiny quarter of a second to do 80 or 90. So if they're using an AR or something that isn't that single fire, the amount of time that they have to shoot you is just not there. You're behind a wall during the times where they would need to do damage to actually get you. And those single fire weapons enable that moment to happen. So that's kind of what makes them the really, kind of what makes them some of the most powerful, but otherwise a lot of them just have outright really high damage profiles. Like the G7 Scout is one that I would point out as one of the most powerful, probably the most powerful gun in the game right now, because the damage profile is just disgusting. Like you walk over and do 3 headshots, a player is gone, and the amount of time that it took to do that is just ridiculously fast. I've done it a few times, and this is so nice. It looks so clean. But so I feel like another interesting thing to bring up outside of the marksman weapons being some of the best and some of my favorite is to point out one of my favorites, the Sentinel. The Sentinel is my favorite gun in Apex, but I don't think it's the most powerful. There's a lot of situations where you walk around the corner with the Sentinel and you'll hit every single shot. Just 1, 2, 3 nice little bloppersons, and then someone one clips you. And honestly, it's a really tough moment when you have something like Longbow, Sentinel, or like the marksman weapons. You hit every shot, but the other person just one clips. And that's an interesting thing to bring up because some of the other really powerful weapons would say, for example, an easy one to point out is the CAR. The CAR just kind of outclasses a number of weapons that are in the similar range, where if you're walking around the corner and you find someone with an R99 or a Volt or something, you're going to win 8 out of 10 of those fights if you're doing similar damage and seeing each other in similar moments, just because you're using the CAR. And the CAR just gives you that little bit of extra damage time. You know, that one clip time is a little bit faster. So otherwise, I feel like to round this video out, what I would want to bring up is that there aren't any guns in the game that are necessarily bad. As much as I've brought up that a bunch of these guns are good, a bunch of guns I'm not really bringing up, they're kind of in this phantom middle ground. Is that all these guns in this phantom middle ground are pretty decent, can one-clip people. The thing to remember is that just about every gun in the game, if you hit every bullet, will one-clip someone. It'll get you the kill. So there's really only a handful of niche situations and playstyle changes that you'd want to do if you want to, experience better gameplay with different guns. What I'm kind of saying is you can excel with any gun, depending on how you play with it and hitting the shots with it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This has been your boy Kittens. Peace.